To master the morning, you must conquer the night.
Hey, Creating Maven. I'm Joy Spencer, your Reframe specialist, with one important message. Your real work, it's not your job or your career. Your real work is what you create. And what you create is what sets you apart and makes you incomparable. It's your legacy. I'm here to show you a whole new way of working so you can create with your gifts, make a unique contribution, and finally get paid to be yourself. This is Reframe to Create.
Sometimes creating consistently first thing in my day is a struggle for me. Okay, a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I get off track a lot, and I have to get back on track all the time. I have created so many different morning routines trying to crack this code, all to help me out with this. And before you think I'm fighting a losing or worthless battle, I do it because I found that creating first thing sets my whole day up for success. The days when I create first thing, it's like life has been breathed into my whole existence and the world is the right side up. So I know it's a worthy effort for me to make. But it's still a struggle. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't stick to something that has proven to be so good for me. Because creating first thing, y'all, is a game changer. Because when you create first thing, or when you do anything first thing in the day, whatever it is, it signals something. It signals something to you and to others. It signals something in your brain. It signals that this thing that you're doing is a priority, whatever it is that you're putting first. And no matter what you say, blah, 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 about what your priority is, the evidence says different. What you do first or in your first few hours of your day says everything about what really matters to you. And because we are creating mavens here at Reframe to Create, you and I, because we are this, we say we're this, we need to make it and show that creating is a priority by making it one of the first things that we do in the day. And as you'll see, as I share more about my routine that I'm battling through, I don't literally roll out of bed and fall on the ground and start creating. It's not literally the first thing. There are a few other setup practices I have before that, but it's definitely in the first block, right? And definitely comes before I do any work for anyone else. It comes before I do anything for clients or for any job. And that's what I hope you know is what distinguishes you and I as creating mavens. Creating mavens create for their own projects and for their own lives before they crack open any phone, any work phone, or do any work for any job. This must be a distinguisher. If you haven't gotten this reframe yet, you need to get it, reorient yourself. Do not give your first and best energy to your job. Don't do it ever, ever, ever again. The morning is an important and precious time. It's a reset. It's an opportunity to start over. And what you do in that first block, that first 3 hours of waking says it all. And when you create with your gifts somewhere in that block, rather than consume what others have created first thing in the morning, you are saying a lot. It sets your mind and your brain in the right way. It's also a signal to that job and to yourself about the role of your job, which I believe should be as your sponsor, not the center organizing feature of your life. It should be sponsoring the life you're building. Just think about it, assess yourself, right? As you're thinking about what I'm saying right now, how often have you woken up first thing in the morning or pretty early in those first 3 hours and your first thought is what's happening in the job or what happened with that person or this thing, what's in the email, and you're rushing or that project or that thing I didn't finish off. No, that's not good. It's terrible. We don't want that. It's sucking the life out of you to be orienting your life that way. We are creating mavens. We do not do that. We do not give our first and best energy to a job. We give it to creating. But before that, we lay the foundation. And for this foundation setting, I always go back to my priority investment circle, which I shared with you in episodes 10 and 96. And in those episodes, I describe how I orient my day by thinking of a 3, tiered bullseye circle, with the center priority item being health, followed outside that circle being relationships, followed by creating. And the job, any job, comes fourth and after that, right? This priority investment circle is a roadmap that I keep coming back to because I'm not perfect. I keep falling off this horse. But it serves me as a guiding principle as a creating maven. So what does this look like for me on a day when I'm on it? Like when I'm on that horse? Okay, so for me, starting out with that center of health, and it's also kind of like health/relationship center piece, right? Starting with that, for me, that is God first in the morning, having my time with Jesus and his word to care for my soul, like being about my spiritual health first, to remember that the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And that sets me right side up every single morning. And then getting into a walk in nature, right? Like getting the body moving. And in that, still thinking about my relationship with God, but thinking about relationships with other people, right? What are the relationships in my life that I want to invest in today? I may not call everybody, but like thinking about who haven't I checked in on in a while? Who is going through something right now that needs a reminder that they are not alone, right? And then still when that health, when I get back, like nutrition, water, what am I eating? And then creating right after that, number 3. Right. And for me right now, my creating outlet is this podcast. There are many different ways that you can be creating in your life. And there are other ways that I create as well. But this is my primary sort of thing that I've chosen to say, this is what I'm creating, using my gifts to create within the season of my life, and using it as a source of self-expression, but also what I offer in service to others. So I prioritize doing these 3 things as much as possible. That focusing on health, relationships, then the creating, all before I start thinking about any work client, whether that's a coaching client or my current major employer. Before I give them any energy, mental, emotional, or otherwise, or crack open any laptop that's theirs, I get to these things first, putting on my mask first. And you see in that, when things are going well, work on this podcast is done in those early hours before they get dibs on anything. Because once other things come in, what I found is that it's so hard to turn your attention back to your stuff. But if you've got a day where you got your stuff in first, it can go all sorts of directions after that. And you still feel like you've, won in the creating maven struggle. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And I haven't been able to figure out why I've been struggling until I learned about night and morning routines. And learning about that taught me that the morning doesn't start in the morning. Go figure. It starts the night before. It starts with our nighttime routine. And what is a nighttime routine, y'all? Because I don't have one. And I typically, I haven't had one. It's jacked, right? I am sloppy in the evenings and at night. I have been, and I struggle with this. Like, I just do whatever I want to do. But the few times that I've had a semblance of a night routine, it's made all the difference the next day. But my normal messery is to just not have a set night routine or a set bedtime. I don't plan when I'm sleeping. I just sort of plop on the couch in my clothes, everything's strewn everywhere, lights are on. Because I'm not sleeping, I'm entertaining myself. I'm on the laptop watching YouTube videos or something. And then, I'm watching, and then it starts watching me. And then next thing I know, it's 1 a.m. I'm waking up. I'm shocked. Everything is still on. Dishes in the sink. Clothes are on. I haven't brushed my teeth. It's a mess. I'm stumbling around. I'm trying to clean up a little bit and then stumble officially into bed. And then I wake up a tired, disoriented pigeon. And it takes me forever to then get into this morning routine that I've set up and I'm so focused on being good at. And it just throws off the whole rhythm. And then I come back to the evening where I become sloppy again and do whatever. And the cycle continues. And because I have not conquered my night, I am struggling to master the morning. And it keeps getting away from me. So that's what I've been fighting against. And maybe you are too. So let's talk about it. Let's talk this night routine, because It's the key, y'all. It's the key. Let's talk about 3 things we need to have in place in order to conquer the night so we can master the morning and come out the gates with all the vim and vigor we need to create in our early time blocks. Okay, ready? Okay. Number 1 is sleep. This is the most important thing about a nighttime routine. It's the gift that keeps giving. There are so many gifts from having a good sleep hygiene. Protecting your sleep is the most important thing you can do for your health, for your brain health, your heart health, your immune health. Do a Google search, y'all. This is all over the news. Like, there are articles galore about this, about sleep being the thing, the hack. All of it, all of the health. Sleep is the key. So we need to stop playing games with our sleep. And we have all been playing dangerous games with our sleep. So we have to protect our sleep. And the most important thing we need to do with that is shutting off these screens. Not just some of the screens, all of the screens. That blue light is killing your eyes, your sleep, your brain, your phone, your laptop, your iPad, your TV, all of it. So you got to break up with them at night. We got to stop using them to close out our bedtime, which brings me to that other point. What happened to bedtime? It's time to bring bedtime back, y'all. We may poo-poo bedtime as a thing for the kiddies, but we are playing games with ourselves by not having it. Our bodies need and love a consistent sleep rhythm, and all this jerking ourselves around without a regular sleep rhythm is no bueno. Just because we're adults, we shouldn't do it. So we need to break up with our screens at least an hour. The research says an hour before bedtime, but I kind of think that's a little short. I think we should try to go for something like maybe 2 or even more if we can, right? Break up with our screens, break up with that blue light. And you might be thinking, okay, how do I do this? Because I need something to help me get to sleep. Well, what I've found and what I've been doing the few times, and I say the few times because, as I said, I'm struggling. The few times that I have successfully, done this buffer with the screens before bed is when I intentionally switch to analog. So turning off my phone with a plan to getting into some journal writing to wind down for the day, and then also reintroducing fiction reading at bedtime, like actually getting a physical book, not reading Kindle or whatever, which I don't have, but actually getting back to reading physical books at bed and having a book on my bedside. It's like returning to a world from a former time that I truly love it. And it feels so good. And like, why did I stop doing this? So it actually feels better to fall asleep to a book than to the TV, because you don't like wake up in the middle of the night because a commercial came on or because someone started yelling in the show. And what's even better is when you start falling asleep and then you actually catch yourself, put the book away, turn off the lights, and let the sleep take you and sleep properly. The quality of that sleep, chef's kiss. It's like really good. But another thing I found is that going analog is made easier if I time box my phone time during the day. So I tried this one week when I put my phone in a completely different room all day, and I set 2 specific times of the day for checking my phone and returning phone calls or doing whatever. And it was a game changer. And I realized that the reason I'm wasting so much of my time in my life is that I'm letting my phone run my life and just run amok. I'm letting whenever it pings or rings, or really not really, because I usually have ringers off, but I'm letting whenever I'm bored and have those liminal moments and reach for the phone, I'm letting that control my phone use. And I need to put specific parameters around it, like that time boxing of only having specific times when I check the phone to reclaim my life. And if you think about your school days and school life, we had so many supportive structures when we were younger that helped us to control our time with TV and our time with so many other things. So the more and more I think about it, I say bring back the school structure and school systems, y'all. Like, I think that's what we need to help ourselves move forward. So that's what you might want to try out to protect your sleep and to get your sleep routine nice and solid. Time box your phone use during the day. Set a bedtime for yourself. And then create a cutoff time of at least 2 hours before your bedtime to get off your screens and go analog with a journal or some fiction writing for those final hours. Try it out. It'll change your life. Going analog in your life, it probably means getting something like a regular alarm clock and a watch, because we often, are on our screens for our phones for the time, right? And so getting an alarm clock and a watch has also been helpful for me. So, like I said, this is a work in progress for me. It feels like a battle, like I'm in some kind of war. And I only make headway when I fight back, when I don't leave things to chance or to my mood, when I'm intentional about these things, because I'm in love with the results. I'm in love with the possibility of creating more and creating more consistently and doing it first. And so I let that propel me and get me into that, let's do it state of mind. And it helps. And so I think it'll help you too. Now let's move on to the second thing you want to put in place to conquer the night. Number 2 is getting your physical environment back to factory settings at the end of each and every single day. Yes, that physical clutter. It's about putting everything away back to where it belongs at the end of the day, putting up the stuff you threw around, picking that stuff up, straightening the pillows, making sure the laundry gets put away, making sure there are no dishes in the sink, make sure the bathroom is tidied up, all the ways that you have lived in your space and didn't have time to do clean as you go throughout the day. Now is the time to make sure you get things sorted before you wind down your day and hop into bed. Straighten up, tidy up, so that the next day starts with its own clean slate. Decide you are not going to sleep in the aftermath of today. Clear all evidence of the day so you have a new slate for the new. And that brings us to the third and final thing you want to do to conquer your night. Beyond simply cleaning up the current day, you want to set up for the next day. You want to create a starting block for your next day. You want to make sure you've laid out, identified, or organized all the things you need for your first 3 hours of your day. That would be your clothes being laid out that you need for your workout and your work day. That means you've thought through your plan of how you're going to fuel yourself. I cannot tell you how much time I waste in the morning trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, even what I'm going to wear to work out, or what am I going to eat today? Like I realize that I waste and burn so much time. So figure it out. What's for breakfast? If you don't do weekly planning because it's too much for you, and I don't because it's too much for me, then at least a plan for the night before and what you're going to eat for breakfast is in order. That's going to help huge, big time. And sure, you can change your mind, but you would have just saved yourself so much energy and made it so much smoother. And when I've done this, it really has made the morning so much smoother. So that's what you want to do, right? To set up your starting block. What are you going to wear and how are you going to fuel yourself in the morning? And if you journal in the morning, it needs to be set up as well. When are you going to do that? Like where is the journal? Where's the pen? Where's the spot you're going to journal? Put it all together so it's ready to go. All the things you need for your first 3 hours of the day need to be thought through and your necessary equipment and items identified or set out. That's how you get your starting block set up and good to go. So those are your 3 things you need to conquer the night so that you can master the morning. 1, your sleep hygiene routine. 2, returning your physical environment to factory settings at the end of each day. And 3, setting a solid starting block for the next day by prepping your items that you need for those first 3 hours. Like I said, we've been falling asleep on our childhood disciplines and routines, and we need to bring it back. We need to be our own parents here and give ourselves some parameters, because it's only going to make doing what we need to do and creating that much easier. These 3 things, when I've done them, have made all the difference the next day and have helped me to master that next morning. So I put that to you and hope that you join me in this journey, this struggle bus, because I'm still fighting for this, because it's worth it. I find it's a worthwhile fight. So I'm going to keep fighting and figuring it out. And, I tinker around. I move things around a little bit as I see that it helps me find an easier way to do it consistently. So don't get locked in. Just commit to figuring out what is going to work for you, what is going to bring you to consistency. Because we are not here to jump out of bed and run around frazzled, giving our best energy to a job. We need to make sure we are honoring the integrity of our identity of being creating mavens, and getting our night and morning routines together will lay the foundation to help us to do that. So I hope this helped you today. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your accountability partner or someone who you think will really benefit, and check in with each other to see how it makes all the difference in the world when you're able to make it work for you. See you soon, Creating Maven. Until then, remember to always ask yourself, what will I create?